All right, so we are together today to talk about Global Homes Group and their success in a seller's market. And we have Britt Payne, Jeremy Dobbs, and Adam Beams with us today to talk about their incredible success as a team. So you guys, you want to start by introducing yourselves and your team, where you are, all that?
Yep, so like Katie said, I'm Britt Payne, still in sales, lead team meetings, kind of a team leader per se for our team. And I got into real estate end of 15, jumped in full-time January of 2016. And we started Global Homes Group in 2017, June of 2017. So we just celebrated 3 years this past June. And we'll kind of talk through some numbers and some things and tell you a little bit more about us as we go. Jeremy?
I've been in real estate since
2013.
2013. July 13 is when I started full-time. So a little over 7 years now. I'm in charge. I still sell. I'm in charge of the numbers side of everything and help with the office staff and getting our systems and models in place that in our training guide, which we're about to have finished, our Google Drive for all of that. We had a meeting about that today. That's the sort of things that I'm in charge of. Everything we have Adam, y'all know Adam right there. He got in July of 16.
Yeah, so y'all know me. Y'all know my story, so we won't go through all that. But I'm trying to be in sales.
Anyone who doesn't know you, you are Adam Beams.
I'm Adam Beams.
Okay.
Operating president for KW Montgomery.
And partner in Global Homes Group.
And partner in Global Homes Group. Thank you, Katie.
All right. I mean, I know words. You know, it's sometimes hard.
Yeah.
I'm going.
So anyway, yes, I got in 2016. This opportunity came up in we actually bought the market center in November, so I'm here every other week and making sure that we're highly successful and hitting our goals. So my job is to cast the vision, ensure that the capital's on point, and make sure we are growing and hitting our goals. So that's what we do when I'm here. When I'm in Tuscaloosa, I still help with a few of the agents here and there, field questions, and make sure that our strategies are going to push us to be number one in the state of Alabama for next year.
Awesome. So what was y'all's production last year? How many team members do you have? What areas do you serve? And what was your production last year? Where are you guys at for this year?
Our production last year, we did 277 transactions for roughly 68 million. It was 67,900,000 some, so 68 million. How many agents do we have last year?
7.
We had 7 last year, I think, and Adam sold last year, and Adam sold about 55 houses for us last year. We're basically, and since about November of last year, he stepped out. So he sold a few, but not like he did. So this year we have closed 239 transactions year to date for about 55 million and 1.4, almost 1.5 GCI so far this year. And we have 36 pending right now. 39 pending. Mm-hmm. 39 pending. I knew I told you the number a second. 39 pending we're roughly on track to, so the 239 and the 39 is what?
289, I want to say.
Yeah, so we're on track to do about 320 or so this year for a little over 70 million, about 72, 73 million probably this year. And we have 10 agents that sell right now. Not counting, that's counting that. That's not
That's-
counting this too.
That's right. Not
Yeah,
counting.
not
us.
counting this.
Several of those have just come on. So as far as looking at sales, that does not reflect activity off of probably 3.
Right. Yeah, we just brought on 3 agents, and so you've always got to be preparing 90 days out for your business. So those of you who may be starting to take some listings, working with lots of buyers, if you're feeling the pressure and you feel like there's not enough time in the day, you're missing some leverage somewhere in your life, and it may be a good time to bring in an assistant to help do some paperwork. It may be that you love doing the paperwork, and this goes a little bit against MREA, but I'm all about doing what you love at first. And so it may be that you bring in a showing assistant to help with showings and some paperwork so that you can keep going on listing appointments. So anyway, I'm probably getting too far ahead, but I'll give it back to Katie.
Okay, so I know you guys get this question a lot. Why did you guys team up? Why are you doing a team versus 3 individual agents or 12 individual agents?
It boiled down to 3 or 4 different things. One of them is we all had sort of the same visions, and why fight each other when we could join and get there a lot quicker? That's one of the main reasons. And there's security in having 3. Now, is your take home right away as good as it could be? We could make more money as single agents right now. However, long-term vision, it made more sense to go as a team for, say, what if Adam gets hit by a car again tomorrow, by a dump truck again tomorrow, or whatever?
It's a concrete truck, okay?
He's been hit by more than one different
You get hit by a bus.
hit by a vehicle.
That.
Can't work anymore.
Yeah, I think one thing with the team is like Jeremy said, our team is not built off of the quote unquote model. So when you start asking about teams, that's kind of a loose-ended question. It can be a lot of different things. The more partners that you have, you can move quicker and you move more stable. There's more security with multiple partners. Like Jeremy said, there's less profitability for each individual, but I think that the opportunities will come quicker way we have it structured. I mean, as far as the growth, as far as Jeremy was a MAPS coach, I looked at being a MAPS coach, actually was leaving Austin and got this opportunity. So in the business world, I think it's helped us to kind of get you hear about Gary talk about the hockey stick, where the travel between the initial start and then the curve of the hockey stick. It's just helped us kind of throttle down to get to that curve, and we're probably still in the upward swing of that. But I feel like in the next 2 to 3 years, it's really going to help us just take off. So
Hard part is being patient.
patience is not one of my strong suits, so that's another strength. Thanks for bringing that up.
Opportunity. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, and so the dynamics of our personalities helps us with recruiting. I'm a very high D.
Which he's referencing the disc profile for anybody.
This profile. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jeremy's very calculated, analytical. Britt's very social, and everybody loves Britt. So where those different personalities, it helps us to kind of relate better to folks. Somebody's going to attach to one of us and be able to relate with us better. So,
And if not, maybe they're not for you guys.
they
Right.
definitely are not.
If you're not one of the 3, you probably don't hang out with us.
For sure.
Well, so you guys joined up together in 3 years ago, and in those 3 years, this is not one of the questions, Jeremy, I'm sorry. And in those 3 years, what have you guys seen as far as achievement? I know y'all had a big vision when you teamed up together, and share with everybody who may not know all that you guys have achieved. Gary Keller's Top 200.
Yeah.
Millionaire agent team for 2 years.
Yeah, it was really rewarding when we joined together and was able to really, if you look at Gary Keller's triangle, leads, listings, and leverage, I have this conversation a lot with guys coming on our team and ask about being a part of a team and why should we be a part of a team? What are the benefits? And I always draw that triangle. This is something new I've kind of started doing, and I just say, when you come into the business, it's important to take listings. Listings is going to drive your business. And when you do take listings, and if you do take listings quickly, you're going to get leads. Leads are going to come to you, and you're going to get so many listings and so many leads that you're going to need leverage to get to the next level and to have a life outside of real estate. And that's kind of what the team has provided and what we've seen. And so when we all joined together, we hired, Jeremy had hired an assistant. And so immediately he had his license. He was a contract to close assistant and kind of assisted us and helped us. He's still with us today. And man, I think it was 225 transactions for 53 million was our first year. And so we claimed MREA status our first year in business, which was, I felt like a huge win. Our second year in business, Jeremy became a MAPS coach, and then we continued to grow. I want to say, let me do that year.
That's 277.
That's right, 277 with the 68 million in volume.
First full year that was like January to December.
That's right. And there again hit MREA status, and this time we also were able to get into Gary's top 200, 250, whatever it is now, 250 I think now. And so that was a huge honor, man. I'm gonna tell you what, when I was told about this top group, I just thought that was out beyond the stars, to be quite honest with you. And when we got invited, me, Jeremy, and Adam are sitting on the front row, and Gary Keller walks in, and y'all, like, if his feet would have stunk, I could have smelled him. Okay, like he was right there. And I don't think I still grasp to this day how real that was and is for us. It's a pretty cool honor. And he was down to earth, and I truly believe when he talks about being agent centered, he really is. He does this for the agents, and he cares about his agents. I was very impressed by that. And the last thing I'll say, I tend to talk a lot, sorry. Last thing I'll say to this is, through all of that success, what felt a little bit at a time has really been a lot more than we probably realize on a daily basis, because then the opportunity for OP and the Market Center came about because of us joining together and being able to accomplish so much more so fast.
And what he's not telling you, and I don't know if he cares if I share this or not, but he was also invited to be a bowl coach, but the timing wasn't right. So he's had opportunities like that as well that he didn't think was the right time for his family. So he's had other opportunities too with all this.
For sure.
Besides, Adam was going to be a MAPS coach, and OP, I was a MAPS coach for a while. He had the opportunity. He got invited by Diana to go straight to the trials for a bowl coach.
Yeah.
There's a process you go through to get all of these, I don't know, lack of a better term, like not certification, but to be able to be a mastery coach, a MAPS coach, or a bold coach, you have to go through the certain process. And so for anybody that knows Diana Kokoska, that's pretty a big deal. She created what we know as bold. We would not have that. So.
And she said, I hear you want to be a bold coach and go straight to trial.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, all that, showing up, doing what it is that we know we need to do to be highly successful. we were all committed to doing that. And, I've said this before, other job opportunities, people always say, hey, if you'll do this, then hang around, opportunity to show up. And it never did. It was just excuses. And so with Keller Williams, it's there. And so I'm blown away when we look back and see the opportunities. I mean, the other day being on the call, I was nervous. That's a big platform.
Oh, I forgot to even mention Mega Camp Script Off Championship.
Yeah.
That really won't fit in your name.
But with that all said, guys, Vicki, you're a prime example. You're willing to do what it takes. You jumped out there in faith, not fear. And you're impacting people's lives, and it's not going unnoticed. Tiffany, you've come in, you've plugged in, your business is starting to take off. You guys, y'all have the same opportunity anybody else has here. Mm-hmm. So we're not special. We followed the red book, and we've made a lot of mistakes, and we fell forward. So it's just plugging away day after day, doing what it is that we know we need to do.
And it's like we talk about all the time, preparing for the opportunity. Don't wait on an opportunity and then decide to prepare. Prepare now. Go after what you want now. Okay, so get back into our questions. In what ways are you guys experiencing success in the seller's market? So have you had to adapt to things for COVID, or are you business as usual being listing focused?
We're business as usual. There's really been not much change with COVID part of it here as far as showings, and everything's been face-to-face for the most part. Nobody really cares about that part of it. Around here, I don't know about Montgomery. That part of it hasn't changed really. It did for a few weeks right there when it first started. But once people got over the initial fear, all of that's been business as usual.
Yeah.
Seller's market is not fun, the market we're in right now. I just lost another multiple offer, and I wrote it 10,000 over list and everything else, and up to an escalation clause up to it. He lost one last week, same thing.
12,000 over ask.
Then they wound up winning it because of the other people financing fell through. But those are not fun when you're dealing with those kind of things in this kind of market.
It makes it a lot more competitive.
Now is getting the listings. If you can get the listings, you can. It's the buyer side is not.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, and that's what we talk about too. Would you be, want to be one putting in one of many offers, or do you want to be, controlling that offer presentation? Right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot better control in the situation.
Yeah.
Team aspect, we deal with both a lot, so that's where it comes into.
Right.
Well, and two, with the listings, Britt and I were talking about this, half an hour ago, when you've got the listings, the open houses, working those, we were able to get one of Lori's listings under contract. She didn't do the open house, and it was another agent wrote a contract on the listing, and our buyer's agent picked up a buyer. So when you got the listings, you can leverage those to get the buyers. That's why Gary's leads listings leverage. Well, why don't we talk about buyers? Because if you don't have listings, buyers they're not relevant. So if you want to build a big business, it's all behind the listings.
Buyers will come.
Yep.
Especially in this market, right?
Yes.
Okay, what modifications since COVID, this is not necessarily about listings, and just about that survive then thrive. You know, in the beginning, when COVID hit, Gary and KW were one of the first companies to say, all right, here's some tactics. We've had the shift book. You know, what of those things have you guys implemented in the shift, in the change?
And when it first hit, we did cut some things out of our budget and everything, red light, green light, some things like we all talked about. Then we also, in our world, we put every listing, we have the 3D virtual camera that you can do the virtual walkthrough with. So we put all of our listings on that, no matter what the price point was at the time. So we would have some of those going on where if people didn't want to have to walk through the house. But around here, that really never, COVID never really affected anything after a week or two around here.
The good thing is if you guys remember last year, Gary was saying, hey, listen, going through all the numbers at family reunion, he'd already projected and warned us that, hey, a shift is coming. We just didn't know quite what it was going to be. And the shift was actually in a form of a pandemic, right? So we had already adjusted our budget down probably about 15%. Whenever this hit, we were already positioned based on Gary's advice from the year prior to get your budget and cut the cost as low as you can. So it really positioned us already as far as a business to withstand that. And so we're very thankful for that. That's probably one of the biggest things that we positioned ourselves early based on his advice.
Well, and that too, you know, leaning into the proven tactics and strategies. I mean, you guys were not waiting on something to happen. You're going ahead and looking and running lean and mean. That's what I'm hearing you guys say. Y'all were preparing regardless of the market to be successful.
And during the time, we also kept harping with our agents to come from contribution and just check on everybody, not asking for business or any of that, because when it came time for business, they would remember that you kept checking on them, asking them if they needed anything. You could go to the store for them. Any of that is what we were doing.
Yeah, and if you look too, you know, our business is built around our database. So in a shifting market, that type of business is going to be protected. The other thing is Gary always says, hey, listen, don't prepare for the market you're in now, prepare for the market you're going into. And so that, with the budget cut last year, really helped us sustain and be ready to run because we'd already cut everything.
And we were heavy client events, which we're starting our client events back. We're going to have our first one October 10th. I don't even know if Adam knows some of this because we're having our tailgate thing October 10th. We already got everything set up. We got the pavilion set up. We got the food done, everything. So we're going to start them back and see how it goes. I think people will be wanting. We polled our agents, we polled our clients, and they're all ready for it, wanting to do it. So
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, you know, agents were featured on Mega Camp saying they have, one, taken those events and gone virtual, the ones they could, and they're implementing some things back in person because, I mean, you have to, at some point, we have to see each other again. And we've learned we can do that pretty safely. So one thing, I don't know if you guys caught, but from Mega Camp, Gary did his market update. So he's talking about exactly what you guys are referencing now, right? With looking at the market, focusing on what's coming. And Google came on and said, organizations that have embraced technology or virtual ways to do business are seeing up to a 200% return, opposed to those not doing anything. So you guys you already had virtual tours just for maybe, you know, a select value proposition for some luxury, you know, is that what I'm hearing you guys say? And now you just adapted it for everybody.
Well, we're not doing that anymore because under 200 is selling just like that
right now. Right. You see, it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary right now. when it becomes necessary again, we already have the tools in place to be able to do it.
Yeah, be ready to shift when you have to shift, but not waste the money when you don't have to. So
Exactly. All right. So what tactics can you share with us that agents on this call or watching it later should apply to their business right now?
Man, just lead in, follow up. You need to be heavy in that right now. Some of the shifts that you are seeing, here's the two biggest things I see that you need to implement and be doing. You need to be lead genning like crazy and following up, because there's two things going on. We have low inventory for houses, and it's hard to take listings to a degree because of for sale by owners are selling pretty quick, and sellers aren't dumb. They realize that we're low inventory. They realize these things, and the way you get listings is going in with value. You need to sit down. If you do not know why you are valuable taking a listing, you will not earn one. So sit down, write down what makes you valuable and why someone should use you. Write it down. If it's not good, scratch it out. Write another one down. It's kind of like rough draft until you get to the perfect draft to present that English lit paper, right? So you may have to write and scribble a couple of things, but come up with 2 or 3 things that make you different, that set you apart, that you're going to communicate with this client every week, that you're going to take professional photos, ask questions to them. How many times have you sold a home? How many times in the last year have you marketed for a home? Oh, 0. This is your first time. It's not my first time. This is what I do for a living.
Last time you sold a house?
Yeah. When's the last time you sold a house?
It could be 10 years ago.
Go in with questions and be prepared to take the listing and be the professional and add value to you. And through adding value to you, you're going to add value to that client. So that's the big thing on listings. The second thing is just touching your database. Make sure they know you are the professional, because the other thing we have going on is so many agents getting into the business right now. You don't want to be the one left holding a sign, looking for work, looking for food, money, whatever. You want to sell real estate for a living and earn your living. And so make sure you're calling and texting your database. There's Keller Williams got a ton of ways to do it. You can go through the alphabet. Use the D2, whatever it is. The database too. Yeah, I don't know all the verbiage thing. I just know you go through your alphabet and you text, touch, call everybody in your database and make sure they know who you are and that you're still in real estate, and who do they know who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate.
I do the database, but I don't do it the exact way
Yeah,
they do. I do A/B at a time, then CD.
Yep.
Like that, because that's easier to remember than to remember the other way. So I do A/B, then CD, EF to get all that. But then also what we're harping with our clients right now in our one-on-ones with our agents, not clients, our agents, is have a system around your follow-up. We use a spreadsheet for our follow-up, a Google Drive spreadsheet that they fill out. We can see it, they can see it. And that's the first thing we go over with them at every one of our meetings, because that tells us how healthy your business is more than just, I don't care how many pendings or closing. Well, I do, don't get me wrong. We do care about that, but I really don't care right at the moment how many pending and closings you have, because long-term, what your pipeline has on it is what your business is.
Well, that goes down to forecasting your business, and that's the difference. What'd you say, Jeremy?
That's how you run a business instead of letting the business run you.
Yeah, well, I mean, the pendings and the closings, that's yesterday's money. You've already got that locked down. We need to keep a forecast of what's coming and what's going, just like we run the market center. If you guys don't have the shift book, I mean, the shift book and the MREA, that is money. And if you guys will plug into it and use it.
The shift book's better than MREA.
Yeah, Tactic 4 it's finding the motivated lead generating. I think that's probably one of the biggest things with Tactic 4 is don't waste your time talking to everybody. If it's A and B or C and W, whatever, right? Our goal, just like Vicki, you remember when we first met, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. We set a goal. You set a goal, and I held you to it, right?
Yes.
Right. And so I want you to talk to everybody in the A's and the B's, but then prioritizing and saying, hey, listen, Rick and Gene over here, they're going to buy a house in the next 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a rating on our spreadsheet. This is an 8 or a 9 or a 4 or a 3. I'm not going to waste my time if I got to find 2 more deals. I'm looking for my 8s and 9s and 10 to go ahead and push that pipeline tight so that I've got people lined up. No different than Katie. When I say, Katie, how many agents do we have coming in? She says 2 and our goal's 5 or 10. Then what does your pipeline look like? And let's be in contact with anybody who's a 7 and above so that we can fill that pipeline up and hit our goal. But
And lesson learned, you have to fill the pipeline up to be able to have those conversations. And
Yes.
They asked what's on. We got a question in the
Shakira.
chat about what's all on the follow-up spreadsheet. I can do that class again if y'all want to and show you how we run hours and everything else if you want.
Is that the pipeline tool you have shared with me?
That's color coded and everything else
Okay, I have that. I'll put it in our Facebook group, Shakira.
on how we actually use it and not just show it to them. We can show them.
Oh, sure. Yes, please.
and
And
also,
have it. Yeah.
I've got a document that Jason shared with us on qualifying people when you're talking to them on the phone to help go through some high level questions. And there's a lot that's kind of buried in each question that can help qualify people, so you know if you're wasting time or if you're not wasting time with them to move through them efficiently.
And he throws out Jason like it's not Jason Abrams. So now that y'all been to Mega Camp, name drop.
Hey, look, guess what? You guys can have a close relationship with him too. It's just time and doing what you got to do, and you'll be recognized and you'll be right there with him. He's become a friend to us over the years, and it's not a name drop. He's just a friend. So
Yeah.
Okay, so for somebody brand new to the business, what is something we need to do today? I
database.
just got my license signed. What am I doing?
And follow-up spreadsheet.
What, you just got your license on? Is
I
that
just got my license signed today. What's the first thing I need to do?
Look for someone who needs to buy yesterday. Find the now buyer. Find a listing today. I told this to a new agent this morning. Last week. He got his license last Monday. And he said, what do I need to do? I said, you need to call. Lead gen, set listing appointments.
Tons of people.
He called over 87 people. And he set up Friday. We sat down and he had this pipeline. He's like, dude, I don't know what to do with all these people. I'm a little confused now.
I had showed him the pipeline tool.
Yeah.
He called me Friday and said, hey man, I need your help. I've got somebody wanting to buy something commercial. I'm like, fantastic. And then Britt, this is the individual that picked up a buyer at this house for, $400,000 on the lake. And then he's got a listing, right, Britt, and a buyer in Birmingham now.
We went this morning on a listing appointment, and he had an agent that he was letting go on the list side. Anyway, crazy thing, he called to fire the listing agent because he wasn't getting his house sold. And the guy, he has him under contract on a new construction purchase. And the agent turned around and fired our guy. And so now our agent is going to get the buy and the sell on this deal.
Why in the world did he fire him on that side?
Don't know, but hey,
That's the dumbest thing
That's
ever.
called pride.
all pride, and you know
Money's
what?
way more important.
Yeah,
than
we're
that kind of stuff.
we're
I
glad.
don't pay the bills.
So what I hear you say is find buyers and sellers today, day one, and he called 87 people in a week and got 4 pieces of business.
Follow up.
Yes.
He started building his follow up pipeline.
Well, he's
Would you
also
call
got 4
87
kids,
people?
right?
He's got 4 kids and a big one.
Yeah, highly motivated.
So
I thought you said he's got 4 kids and a big wife. And I was like,
Well,
maybe not.
she's not little.
Oh my
I know. Not.
God. Ah.
To clarify that. But let me dive a little deeper right there. So last week he said, man, I'm itching. Like I got to get something going now. And I keep talking to these people and I said, yes, you are finding pipeline buyers, people that are saying, yeah, I think I want to sell my house and buy. Or I said, listen, you need to find somebody that needs to buy tomorrow. You need to find somebody that says, I am moving into town. I'm just taking a new job in Birmingham. Me and my wife are moving in from Mississippi. I'm coming in this weekend and I need to buy a house. That is the best, most exciting lead gen conversation you can ever have. During COVID, I was lead gen and I got this lady on the phone and she said, my husband is down in Tuscaloosa right now interviewing. That's why I'm online looking for houses. I said, oh, really? I said, you think he's going to get the job, huh? Like we kind of made jokes. And she said, yeah, I think he's a shoe-in. I said, well, fantastic. I said, when y'all coming down to look at houses together? And she said, well, I don't know. And I said, so you said you didn't have an agent, right? No, I don't. Well, I would love to be your agent. And y'all need to come on into town. We need to line up some houses. We talked through everything. Her husband ended up getting the job. I ended up selling him about a $270,000 house. So that you got to keep lead genning until you find the ready now buyer. If you find a pipeline buyer, don't waste all your time on that. Now they're important.
That's follow up. You got to keep those.
Yeah, that's follow up. But find the ready now. You keep lead gen until somebody says, I'm ready to go buy a house, or I'm coming into town this weekend to buy a house. That's what you want to lead gen for.
While not forgetting your follow up pipeline.
Well, the follow up is all about converting that 3 into a 9 until they buy. And it doesn't, it might be 3 to 6, maybe 9 months. I mean, we've worked people for a year. So that money is just as good as yours. It's just not here yet. So, and that's where the day in and day out in the grind, like we talked about, Vicki, we don't stop calling until we get however many leads it is in order to hit our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing the goal and setting that calendar and following it, it leads to success. And if you don't follow it, you'll get a JOB.
Mm-hmm.
Or keep your JOB.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like Jason Abrams says, you plan on having your license next year, don't you? So you can follow up with that person, right? You're building a career and you can find business right now. You can do it, right, guys? You can work now business and future business, right? You're doing it successfully. It's possible. All right, to finish this up, since we're learning based, what books are you reading, events are you attending, or podcasts are you listening to that you need to share with us today? Book, podcast, event.
We always read the MREA and SHIP book. Adam already said that's the 2 most important books you need to read right now. One Thing book is really good you need to read as well.
It's a quick read.
Yeah. The book I'm reading right now is The Road Less Stupid.
Keith Cunningham.
Yeah.
He was one of the keynote speakers at Mega Camp. Phenomenal interview. I think his quote was, do less stupid things.
He's one of our Gary Keller's masterminds, 250 mastermind thing.
Oh, the episode that was recorded on the podcast, you guys got to attend that?
Yes. That's right.
So good. That was so good.
I'm reading through The One Thing right now. And the one thing is
that's what he's going over in our team meeting.
Yeah, I'm going over it in team meetings, man. It means a lot to me. I think it's something you ought to read every year to refocus, to remember why you're doing this, what you need to do every day. and how you're going to accomplish it. I think it refocuses all that. I think it's a really, really good book. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. And then I will say this, I was going to say this earlier, so I haven't taken a class in a little bit, need to. We took a lot of classes and have done a lot of training with Keller Williams early on. I'm a 4-time graduate from Bold. I'm a graduate of Coaching Skills Camp, level 1. We've been to franchise systems orientations, expansion systems orientation.
CV. CV.
Visioning.
Career visioning.
Done train the trainer.
And
Train the trainer, or presenter, whatever it is.
And that's one way that we've met a lot of the leadership and the people at Keller Williams. And I would say another reason we've had opportunities is just going to where they are, learning, but also getting to know these people, asking them for coffee, grabbing 5 minutes of their time, never being scared or nervous to go up to them and say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I'd love to talk to you for just a second. I've got a couple of questions. I'm new to Keller Williams, or you know,
And they'll answer those questions.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just real estate agents.
Another book on that line right there, another book that I would highly suggest reading after you get through the Shifting MREA book and all that is A Tribe of Millionaires. You got to have a tribe around you. And that book is really good about
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
We've read that.
What is the quote? Are the people around you empire builders?
Yeah, and that book's really good about all of that right there,
Yes.
Tribe of Millionaires.
Yeah, Fierce Conversations is a fantastic book. If you guys,
Susan Scott, right?
Yes.
Susan Scott, and it is a book that will help you with your scripts, and it is a book that will keep you kind of tied back to what it is that you're trying to get accomplished. And so that is a fantastic book. There's also Fierce Leadership that she wrote, which is a fantastic book. And all of you guys are leaders. It just depends on who you're leading, whether it be your kid, your family, your team, your church, whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, you're a leader. And so those are some great books, all the ones that were mentioned. But honestly, at the end of the day, you need to grow your business. The MREA, understanding what it is that has to happen day in and day out. And then behind that book, I highly recommend going through the Shift. And these books, they're really not books, they're manuals. And the first 2 times I read them, I read it like a book. And they're not meant to be a book. It's meant to pull out. I mean, right here, number 7, page 71 in Shift, how to run a 7th level open house. You do this stuff, sellers will start coming to you because nobody's doing an open house like this.
That's right.
So it's all right here on how to be successful, but people think it's not relevant or whatever because
That's not for me. I want to be creative.
right. But you can't get. I mean, y'all see, it's not behind. Katie, is it behind you? The models is on the other wall. Yeah. The one all the way down to the right where the pyramid, the triangle is upside down. If you try to get creative, I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but I've talked to several agents down here and in Tuscaloosa, and I'm like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be the running realtor, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm so creative. Well, you run over and grab the phone and make somebody's phone ring because yours ain't ringing right now. So at the end of the day, if you have the models in place, the creativity is great and it's going to help you be you, but that comes later, right? And if you're trying to be creative and you're not making any money, you're going to be out of business. Just follow the models.
Exactly.
Scripts are so important. What Adam was just saying about the open houses, that's how one way we got the listing today was I asked, why do you think your home hasn't sold so far? And he said, well, my agent doesn't communicate or doesn't do anything. And I said, so, I want to know, I want to know what he's doing, because I want to see where I need to do and where we need to go. I don't want to do the same things he's been doing that obviously are not working. What all has he done for you? And he said, well, he did an open house. I said, okay, well, I didn't see any lead-ins on the way in, and you're in the back of the neighborhood, and the only sign is that in front of your house. So are lead-ins allowed in this neighborhood? Well, yeah. And I knew they already were. I'd done my homework, and there was one out front, but I wanted to hear him say it, right? And so I said, well, there's no lead-ins. Do you think people drive all the way to the back of the neighborhood to let their friends and family know that there's only one active home for sale in their neighborhood? He said, no.
Pictures.
I said, were there signs and balloons and everywhere up for the open house? He said, no. I said, so I bet people didn't drive through all the way through the back of the neighborhood to come to the open house either, did they? He's like, nope. I said, well, that's not how we do an open house. And he was like, well, if you're going to communicate with me and you're going to do open houses like that and you're going to do this Facebook marketing and blah, 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 where do I sign? But I'll call him right now. He stepped outside and called his agent and fired him and walked back in and said, send me the paperwork. I'll sign it right now. It was fantastic.
You didn't have to use the line that you'd call him?
Nope, I didn't have to even call him and fire him for him.
I've had to
But
do
it was still listed too, though. So I'm over here doing this.
Great, and-
Your listing.
Hey, Henry.
Great. Hey, man, what's going on? And the beauty of that one is that from the agent standpoint, he gave you everything that he wanted to begin with. All you have to do now is follow up and make sure that you do it.
Yep.
And
You didn't
it's
have to
not-
do a listing presentation. He gave it to you. He
right.
told you what he wanted. He told you what he needed. And he told you why he was firing the other agent.
Yep.
All you have to do now is put it on paper, have him sign it, and do it.
Oh, this is good.
I mean,
It comes down to just asking the right questions, and that comes with
Exactly.
experience and time. When you're going in and let's just say Vicky's selling her house and she interviewed Katie and she's interviewing me, right? Hey, Vicky, is there anything that I forgot to mention to you today that Katie mentioned to you that we hadn't had an opportunity to talk about? And she says, oh, yeah, she said she's going to do that 360. Oh, you know what? That's one of our tools. We do that anyway. Tell me another one. Well, they're telling you the whole thing. And so, oh, we got that too. It's just asking the right questions. And they'll tell you. Is there anything else, Vicky, that Katie said she was willing to do that we hadn't had the opportunity to talk about yet? So sounds great, Vicky. So look, I'm going to send over the documents and we'll go ahead and get this listing process. We'll have it active about 12 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll call you when it goes live, send you a link. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So it's just going through that stuff and asking the right question.
well, and Adam, to tack on to everything you guys have said and covered, a lot of it is the value proposition of the company you're with.
Yes.
Don't forget that you have the most powerful real estate company at your back. So you can say things like, I'm going to send you the link, or I'm going to share the app so you can share that with your family and friends. How cool is that? Your last realtor wouldn't put up balloons, and now you get to share an app. That's a big deal. That's part of your value, and that sets you apart from other realtors in the market that don't have those things. It's not normal. Well, anybody have any questions? That's really all I had today. We all good? I appreciate you guys so much. The best investors in KW and the best team. We love y'all so much. Thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you for those of you who joined us. Thanks for Henry coming from Dothan. So we appreciate y'all. Hope everybody has a great day. Happy Profit Share Day.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
See
Good
you
seeing
guys.
Katie.